Hey YouTube. So today I want to share my travel to the Philippines with you. Essentially, what happened was that I went to the Philippines and was excluded at the airport immigration. Excluded means they rejected your visa, uh, or basically they did not allow you to enter for one reason or another. 2018, we purchased a land in the Philippines at Tagaytay, and it is now ready, and they wanted us to go and so that they can turn over the lot to us and we can begin our construction. That also means that we would need to start paying the membership fees or any club dues every month, which is not really a problem, but we have to take care of that. The pandemic hit around March 2020, and around June, we got that notice for turnover. So we waited for a while, and finally, in around November timeframe, they opened up slightly to let inbound travel happen. With that, I applied for a visa. I'm married to a Filipino national, so I'm able to get a 9A visa, which is for spouse. After getting a visa from the embassy, I did book a flight for January 17th. However, they changed their policy and I was not able to go because now my visa will not even let me get into the country. So I waited and fast forward to around February, towards the end of February, I believe it's 21 or 26, they actually put back a policy that allows me, a spouse of Filipino national, to get into the country. However, there is a provision there that says you need to have your wife in the country, which I saw and I know about. I decided to basically write to the US Embassy and ask if a 9A visa for myself can enter with an exemption from them and see if I can enter to take care of some business along with obviously visiting the family. And they did answer back. My question was basically, can I enter knowing that you guys have the rule that says wife should be in the country, but can I still enter because I really have to take care of some business? However, my wife will be in the US. Their response was, you can enter with or without your wife because I have a visa. So I think I might have misread that or translated that as, yes, you can enter the Philippines without your wife being in the Philippines. So I booked another flight and flew in on March 9. At the airport, the airlines, and I'm not just pointing fingers, but the airlines should also verify all the eligibility for you to enter the country. One of them being if you're a foreign national using a 9A, like a spouse visa to enter the country, they should at least ask where your wife is. And have they asked me, then I guess I could have answered them that my wife is in the US, because why would I lie and be sent back? I know it's a requirement. So I got to the Philippines and I was able to go through everything until the uh, immigration. So I did all that I need to do, including doing my swab test before I leave the US so that I'm sure that I'm not sick. Because if I am sick with COVID, then I would like to recover here in the US as opposed to be sick and in the Philippines. So I booked that, got my test done. I was negative, and fill out all the forms needed by the airlines and made my quarantine hotel reservation. No problem there. The 15-hour flight from LAX to Manila was pretty uneventful. A little turbulence here and there. I slept most of the way and watched a couple of movies to let time pass. Once the plane arrived at the gate, the Coast Guard comes in and give everyone a briefing, as well as a couple of them walking around taking temperature reading using a thermal camera. The planing starts, and just outside the gate in the airport, you will be led to basically two different lines. This is whether you're offshore Filipino worker or not. And I'm not, so I went to the, I think they call it line 2, and sat down. So let me back up a little bit. When I registered my flight with Philippine Airlines, I got an email to register and answer some forms online, and I did all that in order to be prepared. You'll know that it is completed when you receive your QR code. So when you're sitting down, there's another Coast Guard person that asks who have completed the form, the C as in Charlie, ECIF form. And I showed them my barcode, and that kind of moved me ahead of the line. I think I was like the ninth or 10th person in the arrangement, but I was able to get to the front quickly because I have the QR code already. The others are just filling out the form. When you get to the front table, that's where they will verify your information as well as ask for your quarantine hotel reservation. So this is another part where you should just reserve ahead of time as opposed to waiting, because it does take a while to look up a hotel that is reasonable, or maybe you require food because you don't want to deal with that. There are some hotels with full board meals, morning, noon, and night, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And once they verify your hotel reservation, they lead you to the next station. At the next station, that is what they call the payment booth, and that's where you will pay for your swab test, which is around 4,000 peso. You can pay that with cash or credit card, and I did pay with credit card. So all that went through fairly quickly. I think from the time I got off the airplane, within 7 or 8 minutes, I am done with all that and I'm ready to head down to the immigration. So once I got to the immigration counter, I present my passport and my our marriage certificate, which is a U.S. document. Uh, and then I was interviewed by immigration officer, and they do ask quite a bit of question, at least in my case. And one of the question was where my wife is at the moment. Obviously, my wife is in the USA, and so I told them that she is in the US, and that's when the problem started because the immigration officers they don't make the decision, but they do follow the IATF rule, and the IATF rule says that your spouse, the Filipino, needs to be in the country in order for a 9A tourist like myself, a spouse, to enter. Otherwise, you're just there for vacation, and that's not allowed yet. They don't want tourists. Yeah, Philippines is a little behind on that because a lot of the Asian countries are already open for tourism, and they're trying to rebound from the effects of COVID to their economy. Anyway, they had to eventually send me back because I did not qualify for entering the country since my wife is not in the country. And Philippine Airlines booked me on the next flight back, which was that evening of March 11, which was when I arrived. One of the solutions for me to enter the country, since I was there already, was for my wife to fly to the Philippines. But that would cost around $1,500 plus a quarantine hotel for her because for some reason they do not want a couple to stay in one room, which I totally do not understand, no matter what the reason is. You already live together. We'll have to assume that. You already live together at home and you cannot stay inside one room. However, I know that some of the hotel allows that, but if you read their protocols, their memo that they issue, it says only one person per room unless you're with a minor at a certain age and below. And also, if you need to care for that other person, then you can stay together. So that's back to some things that they do that doesn't make sense. I'm not trying to blame anyone. It is my fault for misinterpreting the email that they answered. Immigration's just following the rules, so it's not their fault. But we will try again, and this time I will make sure that I don't make the same mistake. And I'll probably just take my wife with me to get a 1 year visa versus a 3 month visa after paying $30. Make it easier. And that would ensure that I get into the country and we take care of all the paperwork we need to take care of while there. So, what is the lesson learned there? Well, I can tell you that the next time I go, I will most likely just take my wife with me, and then I don't need to get a 9A visa anymore because I will qualify under a spouse traveling with her. And then my visa will be a 1 year versus the 3 months that I got after paying $30 application fee for the visa, which is now expired the 13th. So do not take any chances. Make sure you follow all their rules because that's what they do, right? There's no consideration because they'll get in trouble. So they're just doing their job. Personally, I think do not rely on the airline making sure that you're qualified to enter. Just do your due diligence and rely on yourself and a lot of research. If you want more updates as I do these kind of adventure, then you can subscribe and hit the notification bell. I will be back to the Philippines and I will share my adventures there, including some of my travels. That's it for this video. Thanks.